can love like Jesus. I wanna be a good friend, good friend, a good friend. Oh, I wanna be a good friend, just like Jesus. With His help, I will forgive, I will forgive, I will forgive. Oh, with His help, I will forgive, just like Jesus.
Well, good morning, everyone, and a happy new year. We made it to 2021. We're putting 2020 behind us, and that is certainly enough to celebrate. Am I right? But we're also celebrating something else. This month, we're starting a brand new series, and we're going to have tons of fun. This month, we have a new series called The Rules of the Game. And in this month, we're going to be playing a large game together and learn some really important things about responsibility. Here's the main detail about responsibility. Responsibility is showing you can be trusted with what is expected of you. Maybe someone asks you to do something for them, like a favor or a chore around the house that you can do. Well, that's responsibility. Or maybe you need to complete your homework for a class that you need to get finished. Or maybe there's a dog you need to take care of. Whatever the case may be, that is responsibility. And responsibility is very important, especially when learning about the rules of life. There are things we can do and things we can't do because of the consequences we'll have. But instead of talking about that, let's get right into our game and find out what we are learning today. Before you is a giant game board of our game of life. Each time we meet, we're going to learn something very important as well as play a fun game together. Sound good? Awesome. Well, I'm going to roll some dice, and you call out the number that you see. Are you ready? Here we go. And the number is 3. So we have to move 3 spaces. Count with me. 1, 2, 3. Ho, 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 and here is our first game of the month. And we're going to play Hot Potato. Here are the rules, and they're very important. We're going to have an item that we'll call the potato. We're going to toss it to each other as long as the music plays. If you drop the potato, you're out of the game and you have to take a seat. When one person gets out, everybody has to take one step forward to make the circle smaller. Keep passing the potato until each person is out and there's one remaining winner. Play a few rounds if you have enough time. You could do a practice round real quick if you want to make sure you understand the rules. You can pause the video at any time to make sure that you guys are ready to go. Are you ready? Here we go in 3, 2, 1, Hot Potato.
I believe Jesus is helping me. I can do the things that He does. I can love like Jesus. I believe His light can shine through me. I can do the things that He does. I can love like Jesus. I wanna be a good friend, good friend, a good friend. Oh, I wanna be a good friend, just like Jesus. With His help, I will forgive, I will forgive, I will forgive. Oh, with His help, I will forgive, just like Jesus. I believe Jesus is helping me. I can do the things that He does. I can love like Jesus. I believe His light can shine through me. I can do the things that He does. I can love like Jesus. I wanna be a good friend, good friend, good friend. Oh, I wanna be a good friend, just like Jesus. With His help, I will forgive, I will forgive, I will forgive. Oh, with His help, I will forgive, just like Jesus. Everybody now. I can love like Jesus. I can love like Jesus. I can love like Jesus. I can love like Jesus.
Fantastic job, everyone. If you won the game, congratulations. And maybe we could play again sometime. Now that we have finished our game, we can move forward on our board and to see what we are going to learn today. You know, responsibility has got me thinking about some really important questions. Questions like, am I responsible for everyone around me? Am I responsible for everything that I do? Do I really have to listen and obey the laws around me? I mean, we have a lot of rules that we need to follow, and it seems like there's so much that we have to follow. This past year, there's been a lot of things that we had to do and rules that we had to follow. Our game had some different rules, but what about rules that you have at home? Or even rules that you have at school or at church? For example, maybe you're at home and one of the rules is that you complete all of your homework before you have some screen time. Or maybe you're at school and one of the rules is you have to remain quiet and raise your hand to ask a question. Or maybe you're here at church and one of the rules is to take care of the people around you. There's a lot of different rules, and it seems like there's so much that we have to follow, and it begs the question, do we have to follow everything? Are we responsible for everything we do? Well, Jesus answers these really difficult questions, and I want to take a look at those right now and what he says about responsibility and the things that we are responsible for. There were these religious people called Pharisees, who they thought they were the best people because they were religious. And by making them super religious and being the leaders of the church, they were better than everybody around them. They didn't like how Jesus was always so kind to everybody and loving to the people who were considered less. And they were not crazy about his messages about loving the people around you and caring for them. The Pharisees were very stern about their rules, and they wanted other people to feel bad if they didn't follow them. The rules and responsibilities that we have today are different from the laws way back when in the Bible times. When we look at the Bible, we see that God and sometimes his people would have laws, so there were boundaries and things that they shouldn't do. And those were all perfectly okay, and they were supposed to be there on purpose. We follow these rules for a reason, and we know that the rules will keep us safe and help us to get along with other people and even learn about responsibility. When we follow these rules, it's a good way for us to show others that they can trust us. You see, God set up these rules for his people to follow in order to keep them safe and to help them. In fact, the Jewish people had 613 different laws to follow. Plus, they made even more rules to keep them from breaking other rules. And some of these religious leaders only cared about following the rules and not about the people. They figured that if they could follow the laws and the rules perfectly, then they could feel better about themselves than everybody else. The Pharisees weren't bad people. They just didn't understand the importance of these rules. So when Jesus began his ministry, he began preaching about these laws and adding new things to them. New things that completed them instead of tampering with them like the Pharisees thought. Jesus would go deeper into the details about loving your neighbor and caring about them and talking about what is really important. So the Pharisees tried to corner Jesus with questions to trap him into giving bad answers. And in Matthew 22, we see what happens. A Pharisee asked Jesus, "Teacher, which is the most important commandment in the law?" The law, capital L, were the laws that Moses established back in the Old Testament, way back in the book of Exodus and Leviticus and Deuteronomy. But Jesus answered the religious leader with this mind-blowing answer. Look what he says. In Matthew chapter 2, verse 37 through 40. Jesus replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. Love him with all your mind. This is the first and the most important commandment, and the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself." Everything that is written down is written in the law and the prophets is based off these two commandments. So that's it. Love God and love people. Jesus said exactly that, and that is what is most important. The main way we can show love to God is by loving his people that he created. That's our number one responsibility. And that's what God expects of us. It means that instead of thinking about ourselves all the time and doing only what you want, we put others first. I've heard other people say that, I'll just wait till I'm older to start loving people. I've got my whole life ahead of me, and I need to focus on just number one, and that's me. But you don't have to wait when you're grown up to start doing what Jesus has said. The most important thing for us to do is to love God and love others. This is what the Apostle Paul wrote down to his friend Timothy. Timothy was a young guy working in a church, and he didn't think that all of these responsibilities were all on him. He didn't think he was good enough because he was just a kid. But this is what Paul says in 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 12. Don't let anyone look down on you because you are young. Set an example for the believers in what you say and in how you live. Also set an example in how you love and what you believe. Show the believers how to be pure. There are a lot of ways that we can show love to other people. No matter how young or how old, you can be the example. What are some ways you can show God by loving others? We don't have to wait to understand everything. We don't have to wait till we're older. It's something that we can do right now. As followers of Jesus, we have a responsibility to love God by loving others. And that is our first rule of life. And it's exactly what Jesus said, and it's the most important. So the thing we can take away today is this: love God and love others. It seems simple enough, and some people would say it's easier said than done. But when we're able to love God, we're able to see the love that He has for others and do just that. It's so great when we have a perfect example of what that looks like. And we have that example through Jesus. Jesus showed love to everyone. He showed love to everyone. Didn't matter the class, what their skin color was, how much money they made, what they believed. Jesus loved them. And He wanted them to know that God loves them too. That means when we are following Jesus, we must be His example. That we need to do what He said is the most important, and that is to love God and love others. If you're not sure where to start, ask God to help you to show you how to love people around you. I know it's going to be a little hard, and it's going to be a little challenging some days. But Jesus doesn't leave us to be alone. He gives us the Holy Spirit so we can do good things, so that we can be the good people that He needs us to be. As followers of Jesus, it's our responsibility to love God and love others. And that's a good thing for you to do, and it takes a good person like you to do good things. We'll pause our game right here for right now, and we'll pick it up again next week with another rule of life and another story to follow. Have a great week, everyone, and I will see you all next time.
With His help, I will forgive, I will forgive, I will forgive. Oh, with His help, I will forgive, just like Jesus. Everybody now. I can love like Jesus. I can love like Jesus. I can love like Jesus.